gosh, you guys, we are back. A solo podcast episode. How exciting is this? I have a makeshift, if you're watching on YouTube, I have a makeshift desk here. That's just my couch. And I'm wearing, as I do in like literally every podcast episode, a Hamptons to Hollywood sweatshirt, which are available on hamptonstohollywood.com, of course. Okay, so we started season 6 of the podcast, which, if you've been watching, if you've been listening, thank you so much. It's been so fun to kind of restart it. And I haven't really done a solo pod in a while. And I thought, we needed to catch up, right? We need to catch up, and I need to tell you what I've been doing. We've had 3 episodes so far of season 6, and they've all been guests, which has been amazing. But we need our one-on-one time. So thanks for listening today. I'm very excited to dive into everything. I am excited. It's so funny. Like I've been. Where to begin? Okay, so this 2026 has been a crazy year because so in December, going back, and I wrote about this on my Substack last year, but in December 2025, I was let go from a job that I had been working for like 5.5 years. It was a really, kind of lucrative social media kind of position that I was doing. As you guys know, I have a social media agency that I run day to day, and this one kind of like position was like accounted for half of my income. So in December of 2025, I was let go, and I was like, wow, like this is really, it was a kind of an interesting bookend to the to that year, and I was like, wow, what am I gonna do? You know what I mean? Like what am I gonna do? And I was like, well, this is, it was a bit destabilizing, but I had some, some savings, and I was like, okay, well, let me try and like really, I'm not gonna, let me kind of get some more clients, try and like, replenish kind of what I had lost, take on some more work. And I was really focused on kind of the social media aspect of that for the beginning of 2026. And I'm going to do a whole other podcast on like my business, because I think that will be interesting and maybe helpful for other people who are wanting to launch their own business. But I was like, I need to start the podcast back up, because I had been doing kind of like seasons of episodes, like, 10 episodes here, like once a year. And I was like, well, let me do another season. And as things have been progressing lately, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I might be able to do, or I should, a weekly pod, like really make it a weekly pod. Kind of how I started in the beginning. If you've been listening since 2019, then I simply love you and thank you for still being here. But Hamptons to Hollywood is 15 years old. Can we believe? Hamptons to Hollywood, well, it will be in the fall. So anyway, I wanted to do a fun pod, jump on, kind of update everybody on what's been happening. And I have some hot topics that I'd like to address. So, the first one, we've seen a resurgence of trends. Okay, so here's what I have to say about me. As you guys know, I like to be very trend proof. I don't like trends. I think that they're like, why are we having trends? Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel, on one hand, I feel like being trendy is like not having really any kind of sense of, if you're only trendy, you're not really having any sense of self. Do you know what I mean? Like, I really don't love trends because they don't really, unless it's a trend that I'm into. Like, there was like a, like there was like a preppy kind of, like a 6 months in like 2023, I think, where like preppy was back, which was, I was very into, as you can imagine. But like, there's a lot of trends that I find that I just don't care for. And I think people who like really disappear into trends, like, don't have a strong sense of identity. So the first trend I'd like to talk about is mullets on men. Well, yeah, mullets. Mullets are not cute, you guys. I don't know who I'm at a loss for words. I just don't think that they look good on anyone. I hate to say it, but I do feel that that's true. I don't feel like it's a unique look. And you know what? I don't want to be an asshole, and I'm not trying to be, but I just want to say that they're not for me, and I feel like even the hottest person like doesn't look that hot in one. It's a hot take, but I don't want to name names, do I? I mean, like Jacob Ellerdy kind of has one. Every influencer, every male influencer that I come across has a mullet these days, or it's like the short on the sides and then just long in the back. Yeah, it's like a mullet. What I don't. I like. I'm more of a. You know. I like. It's just not. It's just not the Hamptons to Hollywood way, I think. Um, Also, baggy long shorts. I have a bone to pick with you because why? Why are we? Why is it hot to have your shorts come down like to here, and you're only and then if you're wearing a high sock, you're showing about an inch and a half of leg. It defeats the purpose of shorts. I don't understand it. I don't think they're flattering on anyone. We want to see leg. I did see something that was, and this is maybe like super subconscious of why I like a shorter short, but like it does like the tailoring of a shorter short kind of dates back to, you know, like the 20s, like, you know, like Paul Newman and all these people were seen like wearing like really short shorts, and that trend like stayed like through into like the 60s and 70s, and then like, and even the 80s, and then the 90s they kind of, you know, like when street style kind of became like really prominent, there was like this longer, I think about that scene in Clueless when Alicia Silverstone says there's like a line of guys like walking in slow motion down like the campus, and she was like, it looks like they just like rolled out of bed. I just don't think that baggy clothes are flattering on anyone. I just don't think. Maybe this is a double standard, but maybe no, I don't. I take it back. I don't. I just, I don't know. I want to see, like, I don't think that clothes that fit will ever go out of style. I just think that clothes that fit you well, it's all about the fit. Like, I'm very about fit. I think a nice tailored, you know, shirt or pair of shorts or pants, like, it's just like you can't beat it. I just hate like when there's too much material. I don't think that it's the only thing that I will say that I kind of am into is like a, it's not baggy, but there's like, it's like, it's like it just has to be cut right. Like it's kind of like a boot, like almost like a boot cut, and not, that's not really what I mean, but like it's like a pair of like linen pants. Do you know what I mean? That are like kind of wider, but they're like swishy or something. And that swishy is not the word I'm looking for, but there's a more of a there's more of a there's some give to them as you walk. You know, they kind of like they're lighter. I don't know. This podcast episode is stupid, but I'm just gonna keep going with it. Oh, do you know what else? Another trend that I feel like that women primarily are hating on straight men is sandals on men, and I don't think that that's too egregious. In fact, I read something about foot health and how like to be like how foot health and like is tied to like longevity. Don't ask me where I read this, but it's kind of like your feet are important, and if you keep them all cloistered up for, you know, months on end, years on end, if you aren't wearing any sandals, that's not going to be good for your feet, guys. And I think that like, you know, break out those feet, guys, get a pedicure, get those calluses sanded off your heels, get the fungus removed, whatever you need to do. But don't not show your feet. Okay? if your feet have hair, sh- shave it. But like we have to, like, your feet are like, you got to keep them healthy. And I think even if you're embarrassed of them, hiding them and closing them back up is not going to be good. So just and then this whole thing about ankles and how like women don't like straight like men's ankles. I got to tell you, you know, I've I have a great ankle. And I like to share it. And they're like, oh, well, there's like, it's like really and their ankles are pale. Well, if you took your shoes off, get out in the sun. What are we saying? You have to be, I don't think feet and ankles are bad, for the record. And let me just emphasize that I do not have a foot fetish. I do not. Okay, so don't be afraid. I also, higher socks are in, which, I get. I mean, I'm kind of like not for or against. I don't usually wear them just because I love as you guys probably know, I love a Vans shoe. And I think wearing a higher sock with a Vans shoe like looks kind of dorky. So I got short shorts. I'm showing my ankle. There's a lot of leg happening in the summertime, even in the fall and spring. But I think it looks good. And I guess at the end of the day, like, do what works for you, but be open to, even though like Gen Z thinks ankle socks are old or out of style, nothing's out of style if you look good in it. That's the main takeaway of this rant. Nothing's out of style if you look good in it. What are we talking about? Some of the things that I've been doing lately, I just wanted to, again, this is a catch-up sesh. I've been going on a lot of walks with my friend Alyssa. And actually, Alyssa, two-time guest on the pod, go back and listen to our episodes together. Some of the most highly rated episodes of the podcast, actually, we talked about alcoholism. And anyway, she and I go on these like suburban parent walks. We like walk around our neighborhood, and it's very calorie burning, I gotta tell you. But it's also just like nice to catch up and I love a walk. We're living in LA. Even if you're living in the Hamptons right now, you're not walking much. You know what I mean? Like it's quite spread out. So I love a walk. A walk is a great way to catch up. If you like want to catch up with your friend and don't want to spend money, for example, don't want to go for a drink, we're trying to be healthy, go for a walk. A walk is so good because you're putting yourself in motion. There's a lot to like talk about. Like if you're afraid of like stalls in conversation, there's so much happening. Call out the car that just drove by. Call out the kid that's playing soccer down the street. Like there's things going on, So these are some things that I've been doing. I love we usually go on a walk like once or twice a week. It's very civilized, I have to say. But yeah, I would say go for some walks. I've also just gotten back into exercising again. I had a pretty severe back injury. That's hyperbolic. It wasn't severe, but it felt severe. It was from lifting a lot of heavy weights and probably like not stretching as I should. But my aunt is a posture therapist, and not that you can tell by this video because I'm hunching over, but she gave me these exercises, revolutionized my back. I mean, I have no more back pain. I always have I would say I get like quarterly to, 3 times a year, like these like searing, muscle pulls like in my like mid back, and her posture therapy like completely changed the game. I have no more pain. It's incredible. I do the exercises almost every day. They're really small exercises, but they are very impactful. So anyway, because of that, I've been able to kind of start back into the gym again with the Hamptons to Hollywood training program. Not to plug my own stuff, but it's life-changing. I mean, I have been working out consistently for about 3 weeks now. I look amazing, if I do say so myself. And it's just because of as you guys know, my brother, another frequent podcast guest, he'll be on in a couple of weeks too. Sean, Dr. Langan, as we say, because he's a PhD. He runs the Hamptons to Hollywood training program, and he's so good because I mean, he's really, his guidance has really changed my body for the better. So, if you're interested, send me a message. I'll put you in touch, and we can get you on the program. But it's the only program I use to stay fit. Oh goodness. So, as I said earlier, this has been a year of instability, I will say, because I don't know what's, kind of coming. Everything that I'm doing is so self-propelled. I feel like I can't plan a vacation because I have just the potential things that could happen. Like I'm afraid to step away from myself, and by myself I mean my business, because of not wanting to miss out on an opportunity. And I understand that that's not that healthy, but if you're an entrepreneur, you kind of get it. And I know I need to take time away, but I've been, trying to do things that feel like a vacation or feel like I'm taking time for myself, even if they're smaller things and kind of that are more budget friendly, because my budget is not what it used to be honest. And the other day I wanted to go last week, and I didn't really have much to do, and which was nice. And my aunt Jackie had told me about this new book that sounded really up my alley. It's called Coco Villa. And I just started reading it last night. But she was describing it to me. It takes place in Italy. There's this baroness, it's a coming of age story from the back cover I could tell. And this guy goes to Italy to help this baroness and help her find love, and he's archiving her art. It's very me, right? Sounds like it, huh? So I started reading it. So I was I have to go get this book. And I don't usually go to the library for books. I usually just buy them which I know I should go to the library, but I love buying books because I feel like you spend so much time with a book. And I will tell you that any book on my shelf, I can tell you exactly how old I was and where I read most of that book. Books hold memories, And so I feel like when you read a book, when you own it, and you read it and then you put it on your shelf, you're also putting on your shelf a memory, a tangible memory. Books hold so much energy and memories, and I can go to my bookshelf and I can say, oh yeah, I'm almost looking back on a different version of myself. It's really cool. And so I love to buy books, but I was you know what, I'm not, spending a lot of money. I'm not going anywhere right now. But it was a Sunday afternoon, last Sunday, in fact. And I was I am going to go to Barnes & Noble. And by the way, shop small bookstores, but this was just convenient for me. And I said, I'm going to go to Barnes & Noble, and I'm going to buy this book. And then a few doors down is an ice cream, is a Salt and Straw. And I'm going to get myself a little dish, 2 scoops of ice cream. And what more perfect Sunday can you have? Barnes & Noble, get a book you want, walk down, get some ice cream. It's a summer night, dusk, my favorite time of day. So I think it's just I think this summer is, I want to be outside more. I love Tink's, the influencer, her summer of outside theory. I'm very into that. I'm very into putting the phone down, meeting people in real life, and being outside, but also just enjoying simple pleasures. This is the summer of being outside and simple pleasures, and I'm just excited for it. I'm just excited. I'm just excited. Even though everything is so uncertain and up in the air, I feel so optimistic right now in life. Like I feel it. Like I feel like things are happening. I feel like everything is coalescing and things are going to happen for me and for you. But I feel like if you, I mean, you can call it manifestation, but if, because I feel so optimistic, I feel like it has to happen, you know? Like it just has to. And I think that for me, like when I think that, I don't know, I just think, not that it always happens the way that I think, but I think there's something to it. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think it's like having some sort of like intuition about yourself and about where you are. And I feel like the deeper you know yourself, the more intuition you can have. Does that make sense? Like I feel like the closer you are to the heart of who you are, of yourself, the more you can like almost, this sounds very woo woo, but like see the future in a weird way, or feel something approaching, good or bad. You know, I think that's true. I think it's true. What can I say? Um, yeah, I think it's going to be a good summer. I speaking of reading, wow, I almost just went into another self promotion, but this is apropos. I love to read, as you guys know. I love to write. I write books so people can read. And I made an Instagram about this, but I think that reading really does make you hotter. Like I did it in jest, but I think it really does. Like I if I see someone reading, I'm instantly drawn to them, guy or girl. You know, I'm like, oh, they have some sort of intellect that I want to, you know, explore and get to know. Like there's like a depth there. I mean, obviously, and depth is hot, you guys. I don't know if you knew, but depth is sexy. When someone is reading, it's just like, I don't know. I'm intrigued by their brain, and hopefully they're hot, and you can turn into something else. But if not, but if they're not your cup of tea, that's okay too, because they could be a great friend. Because I think books unite people, and if you're not reading this summer, get going, because what are we waiting for? You will be infinitely hotter if you read. You just will be. What can I say? Um, the Lifeguard by Kyle Langan is available on Amazon now. Hardcover and paperback, and a Kindle. Um, no, yeah, I just think it's going to be a great summer. I also wanted to just kind of talk about, like, I this year I have not really drank a lot, not because of any particular reason, though maybe it's, you know, too far down for my conscious to access, but I really like haven't drank a lot, and I really didn't drink a lot in the fall either. And now that it's summer, I'm gonna be like drunk 3 times a week. No, I'm just kidding. But I I think it's sometimes a good it's good to take a break from drinking. You know, what a novel concept. But for me, like I just like I haven't been drinking a lot. And I feel like some people drink when they're stressed, right? Like when they like need to like to dull the pain, or to push down the anxiety. And I'm really the opposite. Like I really want to feel that anxiety and stress, because it makes me alert. It's like when I am afraid to like take a Xanax on an airplane, because I feel like if the plane goes down, I have the delusion that I might be able to, if I am alert, I might be able to stop this plane from crashing. How dark is that? But I just want to like feel everything, you know? I just want to feel the stress, the lows, because I think it makes you appreciate the highs so much better, you know? And to feel a high from just your life being good, I mean, what more do you want? Like, so yeah, I don't know. I feel like, again, because of, I guess the title of this episode is going to be Instability. Welcome to my instability, is because like I just haven't felt the need to, like, I don't want to dull. I don't want to, like, I want to be alert so that I can like grab onto opportunities or, you know, be really like working. I've never been this busy before in my life. I haven't. I've never been this busy. I'm way busier than I was this time last year. Like, it's kind of insane. And I think because I'm doing a lot of the things that I'm doing right now are things that I love doing, and I'm kind of adjusting and rebuilding my business around myself. And that's kind of weird to say because it sounds like I'm an egomaniac, but for so long, I've been doing social media for other people and other brands and helping them grow and thrive and flourish. And I've always wanted to do that for myself. You know, I've had very high aspirations for myself. Um, and I feel like because I was like, you know, unexpectedly thrown into a whirlwind of doubt, I'm like, well, this is the time. You know, I have a lot more free time. Let me grab the bull by the proverbial horns and try and do this actually for myself now, you know? And it's been so great, I have to say. Like, I'm not, you know, bringing in the big bucks yet, but I'm getting there. I, my Substack hit a milestone, which I started in September of last year. Now it's June. My Substack hit a milestone. I'm making $1,000 a year, which is only like, you know, $75 a month or something. But that's great. Like, I built that, you know, I built that by myself. And I'm really, really proud of that. Even though it's not that much money, I am just like, that's a big milestone and it's only growing. And I'm really, really excited about that. And that's part of that's an income stream that's part of the brand of Kyle Langan, you know? Um, you know, I'm doing my social media clients still. I'm looking for more. So let me know if you need social media coaching or management. I do both. And I don't know if I've shared this yet, but I got a talent manager for acting. Now, if you know me, you know that I've been acting since I was 11 and in theater productions, and I became a professional actor when I was 23, 22 or 23. I think I was 23. I was 23. It was the spring of 2011. That's right. And and I had the lead role in an independent film called The Undertaker's Son. My first movie, a leading role. What are we talking about? And I, you know, moved to LA and the acting like did not take off as I assumed it would. I thought my star was on the rise. I had a movie at the short film at the Tribeca Film Festival. I was on the TV show Royal Pains. I thought I was gonna be famous. And then I kind of pivoted and started, you know, writing and doing social media, and my books and everything. But that itch to act never went away. I did Groundlings a couple years ago, which was amazing. And I finally got a talent manager. And I'm amped because this talent manager got me a part in a vertical series where I play the main villain, which is amazing. I'm so excited for it to come out and for me to share it with you because it's, well, I can't say that I'm proud of it yet because I haven't seen it, but it was really fun. I will say that. It was really, really fun. And these vertical dramas, they are taking over Hollywood, and the production level is very high. I mean, it's a movie. It's a 90-page script that's broken into like 40 or 50 short episodes that you watch vertically on your phone on these different platforms. And I did two of them. She got me a part in one. I got a part in another one where I play the villain again. Oh, I'm going out for a lot of villainous roles, which is really funny because I remember in an acting class I took in college, acting for the camera at DeSales University. Our teacher named Anne was so amazing, and she made us go around. It was a small class, maybe 12 of us, and she made us go around in a circle and say to each of our classmates, just based on looks alone, what they thought we could play, what we would get called in for an audition. And like there was like a girl that was, a little bit on the heavier side. She kind of had like some like eye bags that day, whatever. And they were like, oh, well, you look like you could be, like kind of like a rough and tumble lady, which I'm sure is like not what she wanted to hear, maybe. But it was so great because she was like, well, that's actually, I don't know if she said this, but I thought it was very helpful because don't audition for a role. Like she's not gonna, I'm just using her as an example, but like, you're not going to want to audition for a role for like an ingenue if you are like a 6'5" like Amazon woman. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just not going to be, you're not physically right for it. And when they went around the circle and did me, they said that I could look like I could be like a Draco Malfoy type, which was like, he's like the bratty asshole from Harry Potter. And I was like, oh. They're like, oh yeah, you look like you can kind of, portray privilege and be a dick about it. I was like, oh, okay. Why do you think that? I don't know. I have no recourse. But it was prophetic because here I am doing going out for largely those types of roles in vertical dramas, which is just funny to me. But I've been acting a lot, and I played a cowboy, and well, I did an audition for this cowboy yesterday, and I did it in a way that was like, it was like a flirtation scene, and I had like a southern accent, and it was like, I think that I did really good. We'll see if I get a call back, but it was for a proper TV show, not a vertical, and cross your fingers for me. The other thing I want to update everybody about is my script that I announced probably, almost 2 years ago, which is insane. Daddy Issues. Daddy Issues, we have traction, guys. We have a director on board. We have producers on board besides myself and the director. We have some people attached to star. One of them is me. What a shock. And there is good, positive energy. We have a real plan. And I really want to shoot it this year. I'm going to put that out there. That's very vulnerable to say. We'll see. But it'll be shot soon. And I'm just really excited about that. And that's kind of all I'll say, but I just wanted to say that it's moving along, and I can't wait to update more about it because I think it's gonna be really good. Okay, what else do I have to say? For Hamptons to Hollywood, I've been again expanding a little bit more. I've brought on someone very recently to help me do some Hamptons to Hollywood things. I don't want to say too much yet, but it happened yesterday actually, and I'm very excited. I know. How annoying is it to hear, like, oh, I have something to share, but I can't share yet. I know, but like, I just, I'm excited. Oh, this was a very interesting episode. This started out so superficially, and now here we are talking about life. The last thing I want to end on, is that, I have some friends. I feel like I'm a weirdo because I talk to people and I think that they have this really, they have a lot of negative self-talk. And it was something that I didn't even, you know, think about because I don't do that. And and I'm not saying that like I'm, amazing or whatever, but I think it's probably for a confluence of reasons. I think a lot of it has to do with, my nature, just like, innately who I am. I think a lot of it is upbringing. I think a lot of it is having self-esteem and self-confidence, and self-esteem comes from, I think, those two things I said before, like how I was brought up and who I am. But I've struggled a lot. Well, I've struggled in life comparatively. I'm not like saying that I'm, it could be a lot worse. But I remember like when I moved to LA, like I had crippling debt, like $80,000 of debt. I had no job. I was working. I worked in the morning at a restaurant, the lunch shift. Then I went to Pasadena. The restaurant was in Glendale. Then I went to Pasadena to tutor this family's kids for 2 hours in the afternoon. And then I went to Abercrombie and Fitch to work the night shift there. And I was 23 and 24, like way too old to be working at Abercrombie. And and so I think I kept working. Do you know what I mean? And I think when you take action, and I paid off my bills, I paid off my debt, and probably almost 10 years ago now. And I feel like when you take action, it builds your confidence. And when you have confidence, you don't, like, that self-talk really dissipates. Like, I've never said, like, oh, I'm such a loser. Like, why can't I figure this out? And if I have, it's been in jest. Like, I've never spoken ill of myself. And I think that that is something that we need to be better at doing as a whole. Like, I just think that we need to be, like, I mean, it's such a trope and so trite to say, but it's like, would you speak to your friend the way that you speak to yourself? Would you say that they're a loser or an asshole or stupid or no, you wouldn't. And if you did, like, you wouldn't have any friends. I don't know. I just think it's really important to eliminate self-talk and adopt delusion. Like, I am in a very delusional period of life right now. I am believing in every ounce of myself. I'm betting on myself in a lot of ways. I just feel like I'm delusional into thinking that it's all going to, that these grand plans I have for myself are really going to come to fruition. And, I guess they might not. I don't like to think that way. But if they don't, that's okay. At least my mindset through the struggle was aspirational and not demoralizing. Do you know? At least I was saying, like, I am amazing. After I did this cowboy audition yesterday, I looked myself in the mirror and I was like, I am an amazing actor. Did you see that accent? Like, these things just kind of come naturally versus doing, which who knows if it was a good accent or not, saying to myself, like, oh my God, I'm never going to get this part. Like, what? That's crazy. Do you know? Like, you have to just, like, be delusional and stop talking bad about yourself. Even if you, and I think a lot of that comes from action. Like, don't, take action. Like, don't, I'm repeating myself, but I just feel like action has really helped me become more confident. Just doing it, just send one email a day that could progress your life. What's that scary email? Do one scary thing a day, I try and live by that motto. And then it's like, and then let's say you send 3 scary emails a day and you get 3 responses back. And you're creating momentum for yourself. You're like, okay, well, now I have to respond to these. And then it's like, if I send a proposal to a social media client, she responded back to me. Oh my God, now I have to make a proposal to send her. Then we're in a conversation. Then I'm getting closer to closing the deal. But like if I had said like, nobody wants to hire me, I'm hemorrhaging money because I'm blowing through my savings. No, it's like, oh shit, like this is cool. Like, and even if I don't get that client, she might refer me to someone else that she knows, So I just think it's all about taking action. And when you take action, you become more confident because inevitably you will accomplish something. And then that self-talk will dissipate. Thank you for coming to this TED Talk. Seriously, this is wild. But I'm getting into the flow of these solo episodes again. I just want to share. I'm going to do updates. I'm actually going to do a Q&A, I think, soon. So if you guys have any questions, I might do a little call to get them on Instagram so I can address them here on the pod. But I just want to do catch-ups and and if you have questions and want advice, I can give it. I'm really good at giving advice, I have to say. But thank you guys for listening, as always. And again, we're getting into the rhythm of these solo pods. I really am excited for what is coming down the pike. We have really good Hamptons to Hollywood guests coming up. My next 2 guests are maybe some of my favorite ever. And one's very Hamptons, one's very Hollywood. Tune in next week. It's going to be good as always. And thanks so much. All right. I'll talk to you soon.